114 is here in our world, and with it comes an animated squid. Welcome back to building JKR's Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Minecraft with DragonflySara. That's me. Today we are going to take a quick look at the changes to the regions that have already been built that were necessary or desired because of the updates to 113 and 114, which we did concurrently. Then we've got two time lapses, one building the giant beech tree and one building the giant squid down by the lake's edge, continuing in the Great Lakes series. And finally, we're going to do a tour of the giant squid as it rains and gets sunny and gets dark. And I think you're going to enjoy what changes when that happens. Let's jump in. Here we are in Minecraft Java Edition. Square root minus 1, I love I love you. Cute splash message up there today. Minecraft 1.14.4 and Fabric server. And if I click multiplayer, we see that we have JKR by DragonflySara, and spoiler alert, giant squids are in. Oh, I guess that's not a spoiler, that's this video. And I'm still working on the Whomping Willow. And we press that, and that gets us into our new multiplayer server that will make life just absolutely fabulous. I was setting up to work on the ship, but the squid will be over there. We're going to teleport into Hogsmeade, and I'm going to show you beautiful things that I did to update for 114. You might remember this nice big house across the street from Zonkos. There's been a very significant update to it. And I would like to introduce the formal Hogsmeade residence of Dragonfly Carl. And I'm going to keep my audio going here while I introduce Dragonfly Carl, aka Uncle Carl from the live streams. He's actually going to be helping me with the beech tree earlier, and what you're seeing now is him sort of showing off his skin just before we start that project. And since we're right here at Zonkos, I thought I'd just go ahead and share what I did with the shelving in the different shops. They've all got different kinds of shelving based on their shop. This is what Zonkos ended up with. And while I was at it, I did break out and go down to the command blocks and make the changes necessary for the commands because 113 changed what commands we use. I got those up on the screen for you to see old and new examples. I'm not going to go through all of them, but that was done while I was doing the shelving because, of course, every time I took out a shelf, I had to replace the items on it. Here at the skyline or I guess just the roof of the three broomsticks, the skyline of Hogsmeade Village, you'll notice that the smoke is a lot more visible than it used to be. That is because I have traded all of the netherrack on fire, which barely had a smoke particle, for campfires, which have a nice smoke particle. And so now, when you walk around or fly around Hogsmeade Village, it really does look like there's a fire going in every fireplace. Which should be nice, seeing as it snows here in Hogsmeade Village. Hagrid's hut has a couple of little changes outside. First of all, you'll notice the smoke coming up out of his chimney. Same change there. But I've also added a crossbow leaning up against the porch here, as described in the books. And the rain barrel, well, it froze, but the rain barrel is, yeah, it's still liquid water underneath. You know what? I think I can prevent that. Give me a second. Okay, I fixed it. 113, waterlogged blocks don't freeze. So it looks a little funny in shape now. because those trapdoors are actually in the block with the water, but we have liquid water outside of Hagrid's, and it is a very pretty shape or a very pretty texture, and it's Hagrid height, and it's not attached to the porch anymore. So those are the changes to Hagrid. The last update is that the school farm has grown. I added 3 patches of the new 114 berry bushes so that the students now have sweet berries. Um, and they're growing nicely. Of course, they only grow when I'm in the region or when someone's in the region. And the chunks are low. Oh, this one grew nicely. It's a lot closer to the lake that I've been working in. So now the students will have sweet berries to complement their cocoa bean and pumpkin diet here at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. In this first time lapse of the day, you see Dragonfly Carl and I as we try to build the beech tree by the lake edge that the students hang out under. You might remember from the books that it wasn't just Harry, Ron, and Hermione that would hang out at this tree, but Fred and George Weasley hung out under it, Lee Jordan hung out under it. We know that in the past, James, Peter, Severus, and Remus hung out under this tree. And so it's an important landmark of the Harry Potter world. And before we started the build, I did some research on European beech trees. And the reference image that I originally used disappeared from the internet at some time between early August and now. But I found a different image that referenced sort of what we were going for, and I've linked that in the description below. But what I learned was that they're very tall, straight trees. They're not as tall as the one we made, but they're very straight trees. They have a smooth, light gray bark, and they have a full canopy. And I think that as Carl and I tried to, wow, that is just weird to say. Dragonfly Carl is going to be Dragonfly Carl or Uncle Carl. I'm never shortening it. As Dragonfly Carl and I tried to make this what we imagined it to be, I think we managed to pull off all of those features of the typical European beech tree. Let us know what you think in the comments, and enjoy the music as this plays out. To start this off, giant squids have been scientifically proven to be up to 13 meters in length with a mantle or torso up to 5 meters. I could not build it that small, but I decided to take a piece from Joe's book, and I said, it's a magical world, and I made it just a wee bit bigger. So, my mantle ended up being 12 meters long, so that made the final length, including the arms and the tentacles, about 32 meters in length. So that makes the longest tentacles about 20 meters in length, and I do think that it came out very cute, if I do say so myself. The image that I referenced for this, that it came out looking nothing like, is linked in the description. I did send that website an internal message asking them, or a message through their website, through the contact us, asking to use the image in the video, and I didn't get a response. So I've just linked it down in the description. Please follow the link if you'd like to learn more about the giant squid. I have a little tidbit that I read somewhere that I need to find out where I found it at, but supposedly the giant squid was in Joe's notes, or maybe even in the first book before the first giant squid was found in real life. So it's magical creature turned real creature. And even if that's not true, it is a very cool little idea to have in the back of our Potter heads. I'm going to read you a few excerpts about the giant squid while I build it, and I do all the command block magic off screen, and we'll hop into a tour after this where I show you how the squid appears and disappears on command. See, oh, like what I did there? Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. First excerpt from the first book, chapter 16, and again, this is the US copy of the book, so it says Sorcerer's Stone instead of Philosopher's Stone. Sorry. They wandered down to the lake and flopped under a tree. The Weasley twins and Lee Jordan were tickling the tentacles of a giant squid, which was basking in the warm shallows. That's our first excerpt. Second excerpt from the third book, Prisoner of Azkaban. Neither Ron nor Hermione felt like going, however, so they and Harry wandered onto the ground, still talking about the extraordinary events of the previous night and wondering where Sirius and Buckbeak were now. Sitting near the lake, watching the giant squid waving its tentacles lazily above the water, Harry lost the thread of conversation as he looked across to the opposite bank. Okay, so, giant squid, again, near the surface of the water. Next up, from the Goblet of Fire. Colin, I fell in, he said shrilly, throwing himself into an empty seat. It was brilliant, and something in the water grabbed me and pushed me back in the boat. Cool, said Colin just as excitedly. It was probably the giant squid, Dennis. The important part about this particular scene is that this is the first time the giant squid is mentioned during a storm. And according to this, the giant squid is not in the shallows near the beech tree. The giant squid is near the boat path from the train station to the castle. Also from Goblet of Fire. Okay, I'll write to him, said Harry, throwing his last piece of toast into the lake. They both stood and watched it floating there for a moment before a large tentacle rose out of the water and scooped it beneath the surface. Then they returned to the castle. So again, sunny day, close to the water's surface, at least 20 meters close anyways. The last mention that I could find of the giant squid is in book 5 at the very end, chapter 38. Harry walked slowly along a deserted corridor, peering out of the windows as he went. He could see people messing around in the air above the Quidditch pitch and a couple of students swimming in the lake accompanied by the giant squid. Oh, and that one starts with the castle seemed very quiet even for a Sunday, and everybody was clearly out in the sunny grounds. So again, a sunny day, the squid is near the surface of the lake. So this is the redstone for the squids appearing and disappearing based on time and weather. So I have a daylight sensor here that is visible to the sky, and he records the light level and compares it to a full torch, which would be light at noon. And if the light is better than 13, which means that it is sunny outside, sunny is 15, raining is 12, storming is 10, nighttime is 7, etc. But 13 or better, so this is 15, 14, so this is 14 or better. So if it's sunny outside, then this frame is cloned into position. If that changes and these flicker, then then this one is cloned into position. If that changes and this redstone flickers, then this guy is going to get a redstone signal, and he's going to go off and paste a different clone a different frame into position. So one frame is a giant box of water, and the other is a giant box of water with a giant squid in it. And these are getting cloned directly above our heads under the right conditions. So on a sunny day here near the train station and the greenhouses, deep in the lake, there is no squid. Why? Because the squid is out basking in the sunlight. However, as soon as it rains, then the squid is going to come into the safety of the deep waters. Over here by the beech tree, you can see that there is no squid because it is raining. But when we make the weather clear, then we end up with, wait for it, the squid comes to have his tentacles tickled and to get fresh toast from the dining hall. And of course, it being sunny back over there, the squid is back gone again. But there's one other feature. It's not just dependent upon the rain. It is also dependent upon the time of day. It gets dark, and voila! And over here, the squid is in the deeps for the night. He will be safe from all until sunrise. That's sunset. So I hope you all enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun making it, and the fact that the redstone worked virtually the first time is fantastic. Now that we do have the force load command, we're going to be finishing up the grounds by completing the Whomping Willow. Next in this series, we're going to be working on the Durmstrang ship that's in the lake, and I will rant and vent to you about the impossibilities of light physics in that episode. I'm also working on my first ever redstone series, specifically about frame animation, like what we did with the squid, where we made these frames appear and disappear under conditions. It will be focused on the frames we're working with for the Whomping Willow, though. Can y'all help me brainstorm a name for that series? That would be awesome. That's what's coming. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and don't forget to download the 1.12.2 world as of the end of Series 3 from planetminecraft.com. See y'all next time.